Are we all enjoying listening and re-listening to the new Paul McCartney album, The Boys of Dungeon Lane? I don't know about you, but I love it more with each listen. And yeah, you could call it a masterpiece because it is that great. But for me, there's more to it than that. There's something extra about this album. And for the past several days, I've been trying to figure out exactly what that something extra is. I went back and I listened to all of his past albums, beginning with Flowers in the Dirt. Then I sat down and I watched and rewatched all of his most recent interviews where he's talking about the Boys of Dungeon Lane. And it seems like there's this new Paul McCartney that shows up telling some new stories. But of course, there's the old Paul in control, in his element, right at home, and he's charming everybody. And yeah, he's telling some of the same old stories. But then this new Paul McCartney shows up and he comes into the room and he sits down. He's more relaxed. He's more open. He's more candid. And he creates this warm, inviting atmosphere. And he proceeds to tell these very personal stories. And we're all leaning in and we're listening and we're connecting and getting to know this new Paul McCartney. And that's what I think is so extra about this album. It's this is Paul, right at home, in his element. He's got nothing to prove to anybody, but he's creating this warm, inviting atmosphere, and we're getting to know this new Paul McCartney, and we're enjoying listening to these stories, and he's enjoying telling us these new stories. Now, that's sort of unlike some of these other tracks that I was listening to on some of his other albums. I don't love the albums, classic albums, but I really wasn't enjoying some of those tracks, some of those stories. I just didn't want them. I wouldn't want to listen to them again. Unlike this album, I want to listen to these stories again and again. I want the stories to keep on going. And I really didn't believe some of the stories on some of those albums that Paul was telling me. I'm sorry. Even though they're classic albums, even though I love the albums, but these stories here, I love them and I believe them. But I will say this, the first few tracks on Egypt Station, I think, lead to this album. And the other thing that I think is so extra about this album is The Days We Left Behind. That song, I think, is going to be a classic, just like Paul's other classics, Yesterday, Let It Be, Hey Jude, My Love, Maybe I'm Amazed, etc. All those songs are very heartfelt, very personal, and they're timeless. And they have an emotional weight to them, just like The Days We Left Behind. It's very personal, Paul. It has that emotional weight to it. But Paul was saying, even though in one of those interviews, he was saying, even though, it's very nostalgic and heartfelt, it also has a very light, upbeat message to it. Just like Hey Jude and Let It Be, like Maybe I'm Amazed, they all have a light, upbeat message to them. They lift you up. So I think that song sets the tone for the entire album. Personal, timeless, it's classic. Yeah, I think that this album is going to be a classic. So I'm going to go ahead and make my case for it, okay? For instance, number one, it has longevity. I think that we're going to keep going back to this album again and again, and there's just no skips on this album. And also, there are a variety of songs on it. From As You Lie There, Days We Left Behind, Down South, Come Inside, Never Know, Mama Gets By, First Star of the Night, all very different and all very beautiful. And also the whole album, it takes us on a journey that we want to go on again and again. And I think this is a landmark album for Paul. This is Paul, I think, reinventing himself. And for crying out loud, the dude's 83 years old and it's already number one in the UK. What more does he have to do to convince people that this is a landmark or a classic album? And this last point, it might not make the case for it being a classic album, but for me, I think it's the best part of the whole album, Paul's vocals. For instance, As You Lie There, that there's so many different Paul vocal styles in that song alone. And they're layered all throughout the entire album. It's very bold, very inventive, creative, and also kind of cheeky. And like I said, I think it's the best part of the album here. Paul's vocals are almost like another instrument. And like I said, it's a thread that a thread that weaves its way all throughout the entire album, tying everything together. And I think that's why I'm saying it's the best part of the entire album. Paul's vocals, very bold. And another something extra about this album is that song, As You Lie There. Okay, I know it's probably not necessarily going to be a classic, but I also think, just like The Days We Left Behind sets the tone for the entire album, I think that As You Lie There sets some kind of a subtext for the album. It's like the album, like a little bit of a split personality here. Like Paul says that song begins with this chord that he goes, it's a discordant chord. He has no idea where it comes from. He doesn't know the name of it, but he just liked it. Begins the album with it. And the whole song is very discordant. It's rocky. It's crazy. It's got a split personality all on its own. And like I said, it's very bold and very cheeky, and Paul's layered all throughout it. And it's got great guitars. It's got a great sound. It's that split personality of this album that I just love. Like I said, very bold, inventive, creative, cheeky, layered, and emotional. You keep coming back for more. It just makes you feel good. Paul is definitely like the perfect host on this album. He invites us into his home. He tells us a little bit more about his life, tells us a little bit more about the Boys of Dungeon Lane. He creates this warm, inviting atmosphere where we all want to hang out and listen to Paul's stories, and he's enjoying telling us his stories, and we just want the party to go on and on and on forever, just like this inner gatefold. This is like full of memories, full of color, all layered, and just goes on and on forever. We all want to hang out at Paul's place. We all want to hear Paul's stories again and again. And yeah, I think Paul has absolutely given us something extra here, like another classic album. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really and truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace and love one another. Take care. And I'm going to go back inside because you never know. And he sounds fantastic, by the way. He sounds like there's about 4 or 5 people in there. It's a Paul tapestry, and it's just a little bit off kilter here, and I love it.